Hello, welcome back to Stroke Warrior Radio and our shows with Janet Shane. Hi, Janet. How are you today?
I'm doing excellent. How are you today, Ralph?
Wonderful. Great to talk to you. I'm going to hit you with a little surprise today. I don't know whether you want to call it happy anniversary or not, but many of us listeners know Janet as a brain injury survivor, coach, speaker, and advocate. But today I want to talk about something deeply personal. June 24th last month marked the 33rd anniversary of the head-on collision that changed Janet's life forever. At 20 years old, Janet spent 4 days in a coma, 2 weeks on life support, and then faced the challenge of relearning to walk, talk, and see. 33 years later, getting emotional myself over this. She isn't simply telling a survival story. She's sharing what happens when someone chooses gratitude, growth, faith, and purpose, one day at a time for more than 3 decades. Janet, again, welcome back. Janet,
It's
take us back to June 24th, 1993. What do you remember about who you were before the accident?
ooh, um, I was a young lady that was just starting to become an adult and spread my wings. I had 2 years at college at the Ohio State University. I was majoring in music education, and I always didn't want to be the lead director, but I loved being I wanted to be an assistant. And I um had a job at the OSU Daycare Center for the summer to get education credits to help me get into the College of Education. I was a pretty determined young lady. I was always happy. Um,
When you look back at
but
that
I,
20-year-old version,
yeah, yeah.
what stands out the most?
Wow. This is tough because I don't
I
really
told you I was
remember.
going to hit you hard.
I don't really remember her. I mean, I know I was always there for people. My heart was big then, and which has not changed. I mean, it's just yeah, it's not changed in that
Yeah.
aspect. I mean, people were very important to me. Um, but she wanted to be seen, heard, and loved.
Okay.
She longed for that. She really did.
You said the collision changed your life in a second. Um, what emotions come up for you now when you think about that day?
Can I be completely honest?
Yes, please.
As shocking as it may sound, there actually is joy because you know what? I am taking a journey that no one else can take. No one else can guide me. There is no right way, there is no wrong way. I am uniquely my own, and I am here to serve a purpose that is bigger than what I am and beyond what I am, to make a difference in this world and to help others. And that is a gift.
It can be, yes. Do anniversaries maybe feel different? How do they feel different to you as they start adding up?
Um, I can, I just got done last week talking about shoving things under the rug in a lot of my posts. Um, it's not about shoving my way through the day anymore. There aren't heavy feelings. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It can be that day, and it's not like, oh, it's like the whole day passes and I didn't know. No, I always know. I mean, I don't I haven't figured out how to not know, okay?
Right. Right.
Maybe someday, maybe maybe there will be a year in the future that I'll be like, "Oh, oh wow, yesterday came and went and I didn't even think about it." Um, it did start out as a very heavy day, especially because grief is a real thing. I mean, and I knew that then, but depending on what's going on with life, depends on kind of that year. When you hit bigger like the 10 years or 20 years, um it makes a difference on it. And also when I had lived 20 years post injury as I did as many years before, it was like, okay, this is a whole clean slate. Like this is a whole new life. But then life happens, and I think that was before. No, I know that was before I did personal development of any sort and mindset help with myself. Um, because I got better. I went to college. I had help during college, and then after college, I still got a little bit of help. And then I like kind of went on my own. And no, not kind of. Because I moved away from the city and there wasn't support here. And at first it was uncomfortable, but then I had family, so then I didn't worry about it.
Yeah.
And then I lost my mom 9 years ago, and I reached out again to the old neuropsychologist. And then I had also started a the travel business, working, a network marketing business. And I learned about personal development. And I went to her and I said, I wanted to like who I was, and I wanted to love who I was, and I wanted to feel self-confident. And she looked at me and said, you have a beautiful life. What are you talking about? Well, I knew at that moment, no help there. And then I found mindset coaching, and I said maybe there was hope of finally finding acceptance, because I went 27 years without accepting to a point that I could stop having the same conversations every month with my husband. And but it comes at its appointed
Yeah.
time. I wasn't supposed to find it before then.
Yeah. True. Um, some people take a couple of years, some people take 27 years. So, it happens when it happens.
Yes,
Um, a lot of people really can see the outcome, but not the work. What was recovery actually like during those first couple of years?
a
How
lot of
long was it
sleeping.
before you walked again?
Oh, I was in Dodd for 7 weeks, and probably um but I didn't move like immediately to Dodd.
Right.
So the accident happened on June 24th. I would say it was probably the middle of August till I started to take some steps, and then I tried to, and I do remember the first time that, because I had been pushing and pushing and pushing, and then I had shattered my calcaneus, and that was also a thing. The therapist didn't like how the cast was on, so I had to get it redone, and different things, and it needed to heal, and that. But when she finally said, "Okay, today we're going to try to walk," and I said, "Okay," and she gave me the cane, and it was like she gave me the order of, cane, walk, walk, cane, walk, walk. Well, that was just so much that was so
Yeah.
complicated. And finally, she looked at because my mom was right there always, and she said, Esther, will you hold the cane? And she's like, just take my hand and let's walk. And then we walked, and it was so much easier.
Yeah. I'm 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 really curious. I've seen pictures. You've posted pictures before of you in the
Hmm.
hospital. Oh my God. That was some of the scariest things I've ever seen. How did you how did you get through that grief? I mean, was it family? Was it your faith? I mean, and I'm sure it's not a answer for everybody, but maybe somebody can hear what you've done to get through that. I mean, you had to suffer some grief at that point.
Family, family, and then my husband, then boyfriend, which we had dated almost 2 years to the day of the accident, so they didn't know if I would remember him.
Wow.
And I did remember him, but it we had to start all over, like completely over, because I was physically I felt like I was physically 80 years old, mentally 13, but yet by biological whatever I was 20.
Right.
So yeah, and I we had to get to learn each other, and I did, you're allowed to forget anything that you had done within 2 years, and at least that's what they had said back in the 90s. And I had made a poor choice. Okay, I had made a poor choice, and I could have permanently lost him, but my thing to him was is I'm not her. I'm not her, because I wasn't her. And in my head, I was no longer the Janet that I had been before. I
Yeah.
was someone new. This was completely a new Janet. It was like a new rebirth, but it sucked.
Yeah.
But God, I say God because I believe in God and Jesus.
Right.
And in the early years, I didn't realize that it was a near death experience. I just knew I had things that I remembered, but I didn't know that that's what it was called. And but I am where I am because the inner knowing said you need to do one thing, one new thing every day, and then give thanks for it. And then I did. I mean, and every day I would say, God, thank you. I would say my night prayers and thank you for helping me get my degree. Thank you for helping me get married. And thank you for having let me have children. And then once I achieved all that, then I had to reevaluate again. That was when um I kept thinking about I was a miracle. But to accept that didn't feel safe
Oh,
because I was taught miracles came at a high price. And my friend said, Jenna, but have you ever thought that maybe you've already paid that price?
oh,
And
good friend.
and um and we have an it's called a relic chapel around here, and there's all kinds of oh my goodness, like things of saints, like pieces of relics of
Yeah,
saints
yeah,
and
yeah.
that. And I would go in that room and I would just cry. Like I didn't feel like I was worthy to be in that room. And then after, there was a day when we had adoration at church and I didn't want to go, and God made it very noticeable that I needed to go. He destroyed my razor, like literally destroyed it. And I went, okay, you get five. I have 5 minutes. And in those 5 minutes, he told me, Janet, you know you are here to share my unconditional love. But
Very
in
nice.
order for you to do that, you need to accept that you are a miracle.
That's wonderful. Um, might be a little bit hard question, but what fears did you have that you rarely talk about, and do they pop up? Okay, still.
That I would never fit in. It was important as a young adult. I wanted to fit in and be like everyone else. I wanted to have a job like everyone else. I just wanted to be Joe Schmo. And on the majority, after doing the work, no, not so much. Because I also was thinking about this morning. Um, there was a time in my life when especially when I was leaving the rehab hospital and that, I asked for the release papers because I was like, well, I need something to prove that I've had this. Because looking at me, you don't know it. And when I went to go get a job, like they would say, you don't have to say you have an injury because I'm blessed that I don't have any seizure activity and I don't have anything that really alerts. I mean, visually I have issues, but I can work through anything. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just you got to give me time to figure it out, but I'll figure it out. And I didn't understand why. And then when I went back to college, I wanted to fit in, but I also wanted someone to understand what had happened to me. And
Okay.
many people, and I read someone's post here recently, and they were kind of going through that. That's kind of a to me now, being who I am now, that is kind of a red flag saying you're in fight or flight mode because you're not okay with being exactly who you are at this point in time. Maybe your body isn't functioning the way you want it to be, but who you are authentically and what you were created to do, it still exists inside of you. It's just that you had to find a new way of going about doing it.
Great point. Looking back, what do you wish more people understood about brain injury recovery?
Rest is super important.
Okay.
I was sleeping 12-hour nights and taking 2 or 3 3-hour naps for a very long time. I don't even, that eventually ended. And then even with children, when my children were really super little, I wanted 10 hours of sleep and I couldn't get 10 hours of sleep. So I napped every time they napped. Um, but yet I know there are people that have brain injuries that have a very hard time sleeping. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't understand that. I I wish I did. And I wish I had advice. The biggest thing would be, I would say, is start with your nervous system. When your nervous system is dysregulated, it's hard to do anything. And most of us have a dysregulated nervous system because we've had trauma, whether it's a stroke, whether it's a car accident, whether it's a hit on the head, whatever. It doesn't
Right.
matter. Your body is forced into fight or flight because it is your life that is on the line when you have a brain injury. And it's important to navigate that and it's so easy to have a surface level of of acceptance because I had a really decent amount of surface level acceptance. It's only with my husband that would truly see that I hadn't accepted. To everyone else, I had. So being honest with yourself. is super important.
Tell me about how you've gotten through those moments when the progress felt impossible, and were those what kind of I guess what kind of symptoms were they? Do they still pop up, or has that progressively gotten better because of what you've done to recover?
No, I can still look at things and not see it. I mean, that's never going to change.
Okay.
Um, I can have, now that I know the terminology of it, I can have aphasia. There are moments when, especially when if I'm doing something or I'm mentally, no, it's not so much I'm doing something. If my brain and my subconscious mind are thinking about something that I'm not even aware of, I can totally not make sense.
Yeah.
Um, and I started in the middle of thoughts and my family's like, "What are you talking about?" And
Where'd that come from?
yeah, I mean, and they're the only ones that can be brutal, brutally honest. I mean, maybe other people think it. I don't know. But you know what? It's okay. What gets me through it is I need to listen to the more I listen to my heart, like really truly tap into my heart and ask, what should I do next? Take the actions that are guided by my heart. Those are when I have good days, really good days. And if I'm having issues with it and my energy's off, Tony Robbins, move in your body. Just whatever you got to do, whatever I got to do. If it's singing, if it's dancing, if it's, just breath work, meditation with stillness with my eyes shut and breath work is non-negotiable. And my gratitude journal every day and checking in with myself.
Yeah. In your anniversary post, you described an inner knowing that appeared during recovery. What did that experience, what does that experience mean? I think that's the way you described it, that inner
Yeah,
knowing.
yeah. That inner knowing was knowing that I needed to do one new thing every day
Oh,
and giving thanks for it. And when I that inner knowing is like just like when you get to a stop sign and the GPS is saying turn right, but yet there's something in you that says turn left. Follow the thing that says turn left because that is the inner knowing. And whenever I don't follow it, I always end up saying, why didn't I listen? And, as a simple, just as a simple example, there was a day, a few months back. It's not just me. I mean, it's people in general. I mean, that we have an inner knowing. That's how I believe God or the universe or however can communicates with us. Um, I had this container that my mother kept sugar in. It was nothing special. It was just a white container with a lid, but it was my mom's.
yeah.
It was starting to fall apart, and I had used it, and I went, I should really replace this. Oh, but it was mom's, so I put it back up on the shelf. Then a few days later, my husband's in the kitchen getting a rub ready for grilling or whatever, and he pulled out the sugar and it was not the container that was my mom's, and it was a coffee container. And I said, what happened to the sugar container? He says, you know, I thought I should probably tell you, but it was falling apart, and so I just made this the sugar container. I said, oh, did you hear what you said? Something said that you were supposed to tell me that you were changing it out. So I'm going to tell you right now, we're having this conversation because you didn't listen to that inner voice. You should have told me it wasn't that I was going to fight you, but you should have at least just told me that you were going to change it out. I said, now it's a bigger deal because you didn't. And we wouldn't even be having this conversation if you had just followed what your inner voice said.
What do you think? And how would you tell another survivor how important to learn one new thing every day to become part of their recovery?
It's as important as the air you breathe. It really is. And if you start to follow anyone in life that has done anything that you would like to achieve in your life, they don't do it by trying a gazillion things at one time. And there is no magic pill. It's taking it one small step every day consistently. Consistency beats the amount. Quantity doesn't matter. It's that small step. And it doesn't matter if you took a small step and it maybe didn't turn out so great, then
Yeah,
you know better. You know better that okay, well that didn't work. Okay, I'm not going to try that again. But you know. And probably one of my biggest fears in life is if I don't step, then I'll never know. And I don't want to be on my last breath and wonder, well, what if I had gotten on that show with Ralph one more time? What if I would have done this? I don't want that. It might take me a hot minute to make the decision to step into the fire, but I will always step. And I want to empower other people that have experienced this brain injury that it's okay to go through. You don't have to go around and you don't have to cover it up. You can be uniquely you. You are exactly who you were created to be. That did not change when you had your brain injury. As Luke speaks, I watched some of his TikToks. Having a brain injury does not affect your intelligence. Your
right.
intelligence is still there. You just have to figure out how to make it all work.
Yeah.
And that is not always easy, but you know what? There was a moment when I was told that problem solving would be very, very, very difficult for me. Well, the one thing I was up for always was finding a way through. And what going through, that has changed as life changes. Now it is trying to hold other people's hands and helping them to go through.
I
And
like it.
I do it with my heart and from my knowledge and my experience.
I'm curious, again, from your anniversary post, how did understanding gratitude become the second part of your healing practice?
You have to be thankful for what you have and things that you want to achieve before you even have it, because otherwise you're focusing on lack, and lack will bring more lack. Scarcity brings more scarcity.
Hmm.
Woe me brings more woe me. If you think that you're a hot mama and you're going down the street and you're doing the best you're doing, then you know what? No one can touch you because your energy goes out to the world and you get back what you put out.
Do you think those practices come naturally, immediately, or do they take discipline?
I don't I don't see it as discipline. I mean, I think it depends on the person. For me, it's not
Okay.
discipline, it's a choice. It is a is a cognitive choice every day to implement the things that I know that work, that make my day better. Because let me tell you, I have a few other people in this house that when I don't do it, they'll be like, "Oh, did you do this today?" And I'm like, "No, I tried to cut the corner." And I always end up, I'm like, give me 10 minutes to go sit and be still.
Good. Looking back over 33 years, how much credit do you give to those two daily habits for the life you've built now?
Most of what I have is because I have believed and I have surrendered and I have received. Um, it's always a work in progress. It's not linear. I thought it was linear, and as a priest pointed out just a month, it's not linear, you know, but I also thanked him as if it was already done for a lot of years. And I didn't know when it was going to happen, but I knew it was going to happen. And you know what? Helping others is part of the package. It's going to just
Yeah,
keep growing. It's just going to keep growing because I refuse to give up.
you have to have that attitude. That's for damn sure. 33 years later, you're still practicing these philosophies. I'm curious, what's the last new thing you learned in this practice?
I got introduced to sacred geometry with Amanda Slade, and it's a bunch of codes, and that you don't need to understand how they work or why they work, but they help. And doing breath and the infinity breath with her and looking at those codes, coloring those codes, taking the soul's journey for a month, it healed. It has it has increased my awareness in my life overall. And then increasing your awareness is important. Awareness and living in the now are basically the same kind of thing. It's just how you look at it.
Right. I see in a lot of your posts, I see a real strong curiosity. Um, and that to me is such a powerful tool in recovery. Can you maybe expand on that a little bit for you anyway? That's one of the things I respect about what you do is you're so damn curious that you look for this, you look for that. And if it's not absolutely correct, you find a way to make it work. That curiosity is very uh, strong, I think, in your recovery, my opinion.
Well, it kind of, the curiosity is because I know that it's all possible. I just have to figure out the how. Or, well, actually, sometimes it's not, I've learned it's not about the how, it's just about showing up. And if I'm not curious, I can't keep improving myself because part of the journey of helping others more is a continued path of helping myself. And if the curiosity of what's going on in your life isn't there, I can't
Yeah.
help. I can't help.
What would you say to survivors who feel stuck?
It's not permanent.
Ooh, great answer.
Stuck You're as stuck as what you allow yourself to feel stuck. But yes, stuck is a real thing. Stuck is a real feeling. Um, but also with that, that's when the inner voice started to say, nothing changes if nothing changes. And I remember sitting on my bed because I had heard that a gazillion times. Like that's something that people can just roll off with their tongue. But when you can really sit and understand that if I don't take anything different, then, but I want this, that's a definite insanity because it's not going to change. And and I used to think, oh, it had to be big, big, big things. I had to fix me. No, it's not about fixing me. It's about finding it
Okay.
within me because it exists. Because if I'm able to see it, it exists inside of me. I have to find it. So it's kind of a game of search and find.
Phrase, I like that. You know, I think a lot of us misinformation, lack of information, whatever, or just cognitive issues early on and for years, in my case, 6 years, I was told and believed this is good as it gets. My hope was dashed. Um, that early lack of hope was there. Um, can growth still happen decades after your injury?
I say yes. Growth or evolution of who you are and how you see yourself and how you experience life. Because yes, I was threatened and forced to see that I had 1 year. I had 1 year to become who I was supposed to be. That's hogwash.
Yeah,
I mean, my life kept going after that 1 year. It obviously went 33 more years and hopefully 34, 35 and more. But um you will evolve as long as you keep stepping forward. If you're stuck, sometimes when we feel stuck, we're still evolving. We're just not caught up with where we've evolved to yet. But if life isn't changing, that's when you also need to stop and say, have I done anything different? Have I learned anything different to help me to move forward or for me to accept? Because true joy, love, peace, and fulfillment all start with the awareness, living in the now, the mindfulness, and making yourself a priority and deciding to take that journey.
it's
It's
a
worth
choice.
it. It is
It's a
so
choice,
worth it.
isn't it?
Yes, it is. I know people don't feel that it is, and they probably think, oh, well, Janet, it's been 33 years. It's easy for you to say that. I, yes, I have always been very positive, even from the beginning. I mean, there were things I didn't like, but I never gave up hope. Hope is a huge foundation. Hope is seeds. Those are the seeds that God gives you
Oh,
to plant. It's hope. I hope I will do this. Well, then you take that hope and then it becomes a belief. And then now I am really in the bridge of moving from believing into knowing. I don't want to just believe that it's possible. I want to know. I want to know that I can do great things but I can't do great things alone. I have to do things with him. And everything will happen if I keep listening to my heart and keep following that inner knowing. It will keep presenting itself. But it definitely started with making a choice and saying, God, I don't need the flip and control. I don't need to control it.
I'm sure there's some out there listening that are thinking, just like you said, Janet, you've got 33 years. Um, I'm, I think there's probably some people out there that are thinking, I've got five, I've got 10. I don't think I can get there. What do you say to them?
Yes, you can. And if you don't think you can, I need you to reach out to me because, and just have a conversation and no pressure, no sales, no nothing. I want to tell you, I want to speak some truth into you. You made it through some of the darkest days and moments of your life that a lot of people don't. And because you made it, that means you have something to do here. And your job is to get to know who you are. Look in that mirror and get to know, look in those eyes. That is one of the first things that I started to do when I started to do this stuff is look in the mirror and really see me. And I have to have conversations with her sometimes. I mean, there are days when I'm, things are not going great and I have to say, "What are you doing?
Yeah, you have to
Why
scold her.
why are you thinking that way? We don't think that way anymore. You know that's not the truth. It may be true, but it's not the truth. And that is what programming is. And as many people will find out, and I've been connecting with a few lately, it's not so much the programming that's there because of the injury, it's the programming of what was there before the injury, our
Exactly.
childhood. You have inner child. And that's part of with the sacred geometry, we go in through a golden door and we go to the chamber, my personal chamber. And everybody's is different. Everybody's looks different. Mine is white. Mine is white like the heaven that I visited. But I
Yeah.
have a certain chair that's mine. It's got like these like it's all wood. Like in my head, it looks like your background. It's Hawaiian. It's got it's got rich wood and that one is my chair. And then my former me sits next to me. My future me sits next to me. My inner child sits next to me, across from me. My inner female and my inner masculine sit across from me. And we let things come out and go into a cauldron and it turns into light and love.
Wrap us up today and tell us how people can get in touch with you if they want to. I know there's janetshane.com, but you're starting some new classes or something?
Yes, I am offering a new 4-week class. I'm going to be teaching the foundation module that I was bonusing with my Reclaiming You and the Awakening Path. I will be creating a new free bonus with something else, but I wanted to give that foundation. And so reach out to me on Facebook at Janet Shane or um you can send me an email at joyinlife@janetshane.com.
Okay. And
And
Shane is Schoen for our listeners.
yes. And if you know Ralph and you feel comfortable with Ralph, send Ralph a message and I am giving you full permission. Give him my phone number
Awesome. Awesome.
because I want to
Anything else
connect and
you,
I want to help. I want to help,
yeah.
period.
Anything else you want to add for today's session?
Keep your head up, keep your heart open, and be proud of who you are because you are a child of God and you are here for a reason. And He is waiting for you to just say yes.
Thank you, Janet. As always, it's a pleasure talking to you. I learned so much. To our listeners, your story matters. Your recovery is worth fighting for. You're never alone on this path. Catch the wave. You are warriors achieving victories every day. Challenge you to share this episode with two people you know who may need it. Have a good one.